Hi Aries, welcome to your February. Can you believe it already? 2025 AstroTarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So here we go. Let's get straight into it. These are the decks that I'll be using for you today. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let me put Mercury in there so he's in his right place. Alright, so I'm going to pop these to the side. These will be for your lunations, right next to Fair Luna there, and this will be for the bulk of your read. All right, so the first transit that we're going to look at on as we come to the 7th of February. In fact, before we start, I should probably mention I am using whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. That's how I come to my calculations. If I ever miss the dates, you will always find them in the description. All right, so make sure you check that out. There's always some juicy tidbits and potentially some offers in there as well that you might not see. So with that said, we're looking at Mars trine to Saturn. Now this transit is going to perfect. This is the second time, or well, yeah, it's the second time that we've had this transit because obviously Mars has gone retrograde. So this is going to happen across your 4th house of home, family, property, real estate, your living situation and your deep emotional self and roots, and your 12th house, your past, privacy and hidden zone. So Mars is going to hit 18 of Cancer, and it's going to be really slowing down here because now it's preparing to station and then turn direct, right? Which will happen at the end of the month, around the 24th of February. Whatever it's doing here, there is an echo of whatever was unfolding for you around the 11th of October of 2024. So I really like Mars trine Saturn. It can give you incredible fortitude to see something through to completion, and also because Mars is retrograde at this time, it's also going to provide you with like a powerful emotional fortitude, especially because obviously both of these are water signs, so there's like an emotional component to it regardless. Mars has been slowing down, but surely definitely bringing your attention to what's more important to you on an internal and emotional level, and maybe even helping you release whatever felt like it was in the way of whatever domestic or familial or even emotional securities that you need in order to kind of progress. Now, Mars has been pressing you to release and cut away anything that doesn't serve. It's been doing that for everybody. But this is you, right? Mars rules if this is your ascendant, sun or moon that you're watching for, Mars is you. And in that 4th house, it's really getting you to look deep at your feelings and how you feel about matters. So on top of that, Saturn in Pisces, which has been there now for the better part of 2.5-ish years. I mean, it won't leave full time until later this year, right? Well, actually, it's full time until 2026. So with this, because a Saturn transit's about 2.5 to 3 years, give or take, right? Depending on, there's always sort of various factors, orbits, etc. to consider. Now, Saturn in Pisces is refining you on a spiritual level and really taking your intuitive abilities and maybe even bringing a more profound sense of what it means to be a part of a community, right? So in your 4th and 12th houses, this is, and it's a set of deep transits, right? The 4th, the 8th and the 12th, these are what we call they're not called the gnarly houses, they're called the water houses for a reason, because they're naturally the spaces of the water signs, and they tend to be areas of the chart where we feel things really deeply. It will definitely naturally heighten your situational intuitive capabilities. Maybe it's made you pay attention to any nudges that are coming in on that intentional sort of emotional level. It might have seen you really change your feelings as well, potentially towards money and the idea of support, right? And I feel like this has been like, because you also have created a mindset shift here that's brought about some kind of support, or brought about by some kind of support that you've had, right? So let's have a look. Let's see what's unfolding here. You've got this with the 9 of Pentacles. You got this with the Lovers card, and you've got this with the Ten of Wands. So this is really, in a lot of ways, I feel like this has helped you become more decisive and really start to value what partnerships, connections, and collaborations have actually paid dividends, and not necessarily in terms of money, right? This could just be in, you know what, this person or these people have actually helped me change my mindset or focus on something different. It's like you're gaining a deeper perspective, and because the 12th house is your past, your privacy, self-sabotaging tendencies, this is like, maybe you found it, and I won't say easy, but certainly easier to overcome some of whatever your personal sort of hang-ups are. The other thing with that Ten of Wands, remember, this is like the release of a burden. And so in a lot of ways, this whole transit is probably going to highlight to you, Mars trine Saturn, how really easy it is for you to either release or to let something go. And it's going to be highlighted to you as like, all it's going to require is for you to make the decision, right? Once you make the choice, the rest really falls into place. I mean, I don't know if you remember that scene in the Matrix where the Oracle says to Neo, you know, you've already made the choice. Now you're just here to try and figure out why you made it, right? So it's like you already know what you're going to do, but over the course of this transit, between the 4th and the 12th, your intuition is going to be guiding you really powerfully. Pay attention to it. Okay, so I'm going to pop these to the side. So the next transit that I want to look at is the Mercury Cazimi, right? So Mercury is going to come into a conjunction with the Sun in the sign of Aquarius. This is what we call a Cazimi, right? And now for you, this is taking place in your 11th house. This connection to me, Mercury Cazimi, always says divine inspiration, right? And because it's in your 11th house, this could be divine intervention on steroids. You have some kind of idea that feeds directly into your future, or maybe like the higher aspirational goals that you have for your future. Your 11th house can also be helpful people. So if you've got an Aquarius in your life, or you know, maybe a conversation with them on or around this time could be really helpful. Outside of that, this could be some kind of benefactor or helpful person, maybe even an older sibling, maybe a friend that you know through or via an association could really help or assist you at some point. Whatever the case is for this, it's a day for inspired thoughts and ideas that could really feed into generating more money for you in your life. And also, this is the gains from your career, right? The 11th house is the money, the gains, the blessings that you gain from the work that you do out in the world. It might also be like, if you, because obviously for you, Mercury rules your 3rd house and it also rules your 6th. And the Sun for you rules the 5th house, right? So it could be that a child that you have, like if you've got kids, that is, even information that finds you about a personal business idea or some future plan that you have, some piece of really helpful, insightful information could be released or revealed to you at this time, and it ends up being really helpful for you. It tends to be the house, the 11th house, that brings benefactors into our lives, especially like for you, this might be, you know, through the network of friends, people that you're associated with, especially because this is a really helpful transit. So you've got the Page of Cups with the 7 of Swords, okay, and the Temperance card. I actually really like this for 2 things, right? The first one, this could be that a friend or a family member, or as I said, like maybe even an older sibling if you've got one, or maybe even one of your kids. You know, they're bloody internet wizards these days, the kids. So it's possible that somebody could really highlight to you some piece of information that has been, you know, either hidden from you or where you've had information that's not been very helpful, or maybe even, you know, I don't want to say legal, but it's like maybe you've had information that's been outdated in some way, and now somebody helps you find or get to the bottom of it. Because that 7 of Swords, I don't think that's actively somebody lying to you. I do feel like, however, it's you being able to dispel a myth. So it's like something that you always thought was the case, and you're like, oh, well, I can't do that because, because of this, or I can't do, do you know what I mean? It's like something's revealed to you to like, okay, that's not the case, or yes, that is the case, but here's there's a loophole of some sort. With that Temperance card as well, this could potentially see you bringing a balance point to something that has been shared with you that maybe hasn't been as accurate as you would hope for it to be. So the next transit that I want to look at is on the 14th, so on Valentine's Day. We are going to have Mercury enter the sign of Pisces. So as you can see, at this point, this is a pretty big party, right? There's a lot going on at this point. Wait to see the next thing that I want to highlight to you. All right, so Mercury is going to enter Pisces on it happens on the 14th. This is coming into your 12th house. This transit coincides with Valentine's Day, and it's not necessarily the easiest place for Mercury to be. Mercury likes detail and precision and all of those kinds of things, and facts and figures, whereas Pisces likes creativity and joy, and it's a very sensual sign. It's a very imaginative sign. The natures are very different. So the message here with this is Mercury gets more imaginative. You could be more imaginative. I actually really like Mercury in the 12th house for bringing a much more psychic energy forward and really helping us tap into our innate ability of telepathy. So that could be really nice. It just doesn't really help because this is a sign that's about boundless thought and melding with the cosmos and the divine, whereas Mercury is about precision and communication, right? So Mercury is more about Pisces is more about the feels. In this intangible house, that's the 12th house, and a silent house as well, right? This could be communication with the spirit or through the spirit. It could be, and I like this because it does, as I say, it brings that more psychic and telepathic energy forward. But the question becomes, what do you want to know? And are you ready for some answers, right? Because this could be a time where your dreams could be speaking to you really powerfully. Mercury for you, as I said, rules the 3rd and the 6th of work. Matters around these things might see you connecting to old work friends, people that have been some of your best teachers through challenges and burdens. What I mean by that is, there are times where we have interactions with people that aren't necessarily fun or great or whatever, but it teaches us something, right? We learn something about ourselves and how we navigate the world. We learn something about how people can be, great motivators, even if they're not necessarily great supporters. So all things like that could really be coming to the fore. Communication in the workplace could be getting a little weird at this time. Like you might notice little whispers and conversations, or it may just feel like that. There might not necessarily be any substance to it. So just be aware of that, but don't sort of follow that line of thought, if that makes sense. Consider mentally you can escape any situation, which is also good for mercurial matters, right? So I would say watch out, because you might feel a little bit fuzzier than usual with this one. For this, you've got the Queen of Cups. Yeah, your psychic energies are going to be off the chain at this time. You've got this with the Hanged Man, also a very spiritual card. And you've got this with the High Priestess. This will be some kind of reveal, right? The 12th house, even though the 8th house is like secrets and all the rest of it, the 12th house is things from or in antiquity that come to light, right? And the High Priestess there is hidden things revealed. There's going to be some kind of truth that's spoken to you this month, or something that's shared with you around this time that really gets you to see things in a very different sort of capacity. I'm intrigued by this because it looks like something that might have been buried. And again, it doesn't have to be something awful. This could be, I don't know, let's say you've got a loved one that's passed away and, they wrote you a letter, but you didn't discover that letter because you haven't been able to go through their stuff or whatever the case might be. And then all of a sudden this letter makes its way to you, and suddenly you have this sort of deeper or different insight that shows up for you in some regard. So there's lots of ways to see this, right? It doesn't have to be that it's this ground shattering secret that's absolutely awful. It doesn't have to be that at all, but I do feel that there will be something that's shared with you at this time that may make you sort of raise an eyebrow or two. And then finally, the last transits that I want to look at for you, there are two, right? So Venus is going to be at 10 of Aries by this point, and this is on the 23rd of February, and it's going to be sextile to Jupiter. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Mars is going to be retrograde, and it's going to be trine to Mercury at this point. So let me move Neptune over a bit. It's going to be trine to Mercury. So this is happening across the 1st and the 4th and the 3rd and the 12th houses. And I wanted to highlight both of these because it feels like it's important, especially because Venus is now at the degree that she's going to go retrograde in like literally a week, maybe, well, it's like 8 days prior, post, this transit taking place. This is so that being said, in a sextile to Jupiter, she's like, this is creating really wonderful opportunity that potentially sees you to gain some kind of result or blessing, right? This is the planet that rules your money and your finances. It's also the planet that rules your relationships. Jupiter for you literally rules like your 12th house, which is where that Mercury energy is right now, and your 9th house. So there's decidedly something about this connection or these connections that feels like the universe is really coming forward to give you some kind of blessing. Venus in your sign is making you more beautiful. She's going to enhance your diplomacy and your charisma. So use it. If there's something that you need to ask for, this is the perfect day to do so, right? Now, across the first and the third houses, you've got the gift of speech. And a lot of and you're able to really communicate your worth to people. If you've got an interview on this day, they don't stand a chance, right? Like, you can basically ask for what you like. Now, it makes this also a perfect time to ask for a raise, or even just have like an important financial conversation. And then as Mars is now at 17 degrees, so let's put Mars here at 17 degrees of Cancer, it's also stationing direct, and it's in that trine to Mercury. This is really a time that's ripe for finding a diplomatic solution to something where everybody wins, right? It also ensures that you can undo some kind of damage. It's like if there's damage control that needs to be done, this is also a good day for that. Especially if it's like on a home or family level. And what I feel as well is at this point, obviously, because Mars goes direct as of the day after this transit, I think this is where you're going to start to see things really ease up in that home sector. Bam, look at that, right? The 10 of Cups, absolutely. The 9 of Swords, whatever worry you've had, it's reversing now, right? And you've got the 2 of Pentacles with this, especially if it was around a financial matter. This is like the release of some kind of financial burden, not necessarily just through blessings. It may also be a result of your hard work and effort that's already put in. So this is kind of like where you get the payout for hard work and, focus that you've already done or committed to in some way. And also, what I really like about this is if there's something that you've been thinking to yourself, like, how the fuck am I going to find the money to pay for this, right? This needs to be done and I've got no idea how I'm going to make that happen. Well, it looks like the universe is going to come up trumps for you, and the universe is going to make it happen, because this is, it's a way of blessings. But as I say, because it's a sextile between Venus and Jupiter, it will only provide you with the opportunity. You will have to work it. You will have to do something with it. All right. So for your Leo full moon on the 12th, where are you, Luna? the Leo full moon on the 12th of February in your 5th house. This full moon will have a bit of an erratic nature to it because it's in a T-square with, so sun and the moon are always opposite at the time of a full moon. That's how a full moon is made. But then this is setting up what we call a T-square with Uranus, right? So this is a tension point. However, in a T-square, the planet that plays the anchor or the bucket handle is literally the way out or through the tension, right? So this means that your needs versus your obligations might go out of the window as this Uranus energy comes in, and it's like, surprise, bitch. Do you know what I mean? Like, it disrupts everything. And because that Uranus energy is in your 2nd house of money, finances, and resources, there is a financial or a creative element to this, maybe around like a personal business or even potentially around children if you've got them. Now, that being said, you've got the gate 26 and greater good. The message behind this card is basically, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, which means there is potentially a quid pro quo situation that unfolds for you at this time that, if you choose to take advantage of, could financially be supportive in some way. And if you choose not to, it may just be that you say, actually, you know what, it was an opportunity, but it wasn't for me. And that's the truth of the matter. Not everything that passes our viewpoint is for us, right? So as an example, let's call like the lions when they're in the wild, right? They will see something walk past them and they'll think, well, I don't know if that's going to be worth the chase or the hunt, so I'm not going to go for it, right? They are selective or strategic about it. So really, only you can decide if the opportunity that shows up for you or the direction that opens up is for you. But it will be something that will need to be mutually beneficial. And then on the 28th of February, obviously at this point the sun's going to move into the sign of Pisces, and we will have the Pisces new moon right at the end of the month. So this new moon is in a square to its ancient ruler Jupier, which means it could cause a bit of a feeling that it's like you're not able to say what you'd really like to say. And it might be that whatever you're starting at the time of this new moon, there's a blessing in disguise that amplifies whatever you're doing, right? I feel like this might be kind of like a feeling of, it's more than I can handle at this moment in time. It's like, this is really great, but it's also like really a lot. For this, you've got the gate 45 and regal. Around this new moon, whatever's showing up for you or you are initiating that you want to see sort of come to fruition for yourself, you're going to have to really lead by example. It's not going to be enough for you to just kind of be like, oh, well, it'll be what it will be, and we can coast and, just kind of let it unfold as it will. You will have to be more of an active participant than this. However, what I can tell you is that the results you get from it are going to be absolutely phenomenal. With that said, I just want to highlight to you that remember my next round of the tarot course, right? 12 weeks. You get to spend 12 weeks with me. You get 2 live Q&As as well as if you know Raf, then you know I love a PDF, right? So you're going to have PDFs pouring out of your ears. You're going to get 12 weeks with me. I know you're going to be sick of me by the end of it. And you're going to learn tarot in a really fun, interactive and in-depth way. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, because it will be coming over the course of February, and it would be an amazing experience to have you there. All right, with that said, take care and I'll see you soon.